So every time you open the PDS for the first time, it will ask you what machine you're working with. So here you have to choose the machine that you have, 3020 or 2010, 1040, whichever you want. You choose the model and press OK. And it will give you the borders of the working area of your machine. If later you want to change this, you can just press this button up here and you can choose a different machine. In order to start working with your pattern, you have two ways of importing your shape. The first one is to draw it using the drawing tools, and the second one is to import a DXF file from AutoCAD or whatever other application you use. To import a DXF, just press File and then Open. And I'm just going to use one shape that I have and press Open. It will pop up a menu with some options. Just leave them as they are and press OK. The shape is now imported, and right now it's still just a vector. In order to generate stitches for it, we just select it, and we can either press the Generate Stitches button right here, or just press the Run Stitch option from the side menu. And we can see that the stitches have been generated. When we select the object, we can see these two red arrows appearing. That means that the direction of setting is going to be this way. So starting from left to right. And this right here is the starting position. So the machine will start here. If we want to reverse the setting, we want it to go from right to left. We press up here, reverse direction. And now it will go this way. If we want to change the starting position, for example, not from here, but we want it to start from here, we can select the object and then choose the Shape Edit tool. And we grab this box and place it on whichever side we want the shape to start setting. So for example, we will place it here and press Enter. And now we can see that the setting is starting from this edge and going this way. If we want to track the setting manually, we can select the object and then choose the Stitch Edit tool. And then this is the home position. We will press it. And simply by using the arrows on your keyboard, right and left, you can manually go through the setting. If we want to change the density of our stitch or the run length of the stitch, we can do that in the object property. So we just grab the select object tool and we simply double click on the object, or we select the object and press A on the keyboard, which brings out the object property. And right here we can see the stitch values, and run length is 2.5 millimeters right now, which is the default. But of course we can change it to whatever length we want. And then we press OK, and now it's 3 millimeters. From the object property window, we can also add backtacking in the beginning and in the end of the object. We simply go to the backtacking tab, and we can see we have 1, this is only at the beginning. We have 2, this is only at the end. And we have 4 in the beginning and the end. The mode is 1, 2, 3, or 4. That means 1 time in the beginning, 1 time in the back. And if you press 2, it will be 2 times in the beginning and 2 times in the end. And the stitch number is simply how many stitches it does the repetition for. So if we keep it 1 time in the beginning and 1 time in the end for 3 stitches, it will look like this. So we're just going to use the Stitch Edit tool, go at the beginning, and by using the arrows on the keyboard, we can see we have 1, 2, 3 stitches back and then 3 stitches forward. And also at the end, we have 3 stitches back. On the object property menu in the connectors tab, by default, tie in and tie off are on. I suggest you press this off and press save so they're off every time you draw an object. And by default, trimming is always on. That means after this object, it will always trim the thread. If you don't want to trim the thread after this object, you simply press off. In some instances, we want to use the variable stitch. So for example, if you have this round shape right here, when we generate the stitches, and for example, we want this to be a 3.5 millimeter stitch, we can see that the edges are not smooth because the software is trying to maintain the 3.5 millimeter stitch. So we can introduce a variable stitch for this part. So we open the object property and we turn on the variable wrong length. We press OK. And we can see here that PDS added some stitches in order to keep the smooth line at the edge. If you have a shape that you want to be a zigzag setting, you firstly select your shape and you generate the normal run stitches. And then open the object property, go to zigzag, right now it's no apply, and just turn it on. And if you press OK, just like so, we can see now that the setting is in zigzag. We can change the parameters of it, of course. So the column width is how wide is the zigzag. The stitch counts is how many stitches are from left to right. For example, we want 3 stitches, okay, and now we have 1 stitch in the middle. And the stitch spacing is what is the pitch of the zigzag. For example, we want it to be 5 millimeters, okay, and now we can see it's more further apart. And if we want to change it to be inside of our shape or outside of the shape, right here we simply turn off the center, or we just press the offset button, and now it's 50-50, which means 50% on the one side and 50% on the other. If we simply change this to 100%, it will go all the way on that side. Or if we press here 100%, it will go on this side. We sometimes want our stitch to overlap at the ending, meaning that the setting starts from here, it goes all the way for the shape, and then instead of stopping here, we wanted to overlap for some stitches. So in order to do that, using our stitch edit tool, we just come to the last stitch of our shape. This is very important. So with our position being at the last step, we select the run tool and we draw a line on top of this. For example, we want 3 stitches of overlapping and press OK. And now we can see with our stitch edit tool that after finishing this shape, it continues to overlap. But it's very important now to turn off the automatic trimming for this object, because right here, before going to the overlapping line, the machine will auto trim right here. So we need to go to object property, to connectors, and turn off the trim after object. So this should be off, and press OK. And right now we can see after finishing this object, it overlaps. In PDS, we also have the option to change the speed of the machine for different segments. So for example, we wanted to start slow, then go fast, then maybe go slower on the edges, and so on. In order to do that, we open the stitch list. So if we press right here, we can see the stitch list, and we go all the way to the top. And from here, we can see every stitch that the machine does. So for example, I want this first couple of stitches, maybe 3 stitches, to be with slower speed. So I just select the first couple of stitches. I select the first one, and holding shift on the keyboard I select the last one, and then I right click and I press edit speed. Here you have a couple of options: lower speed, lower speed, higher speed, and highest speed. Highest speed is the default. Lowest speed I suggest only for start and end of setting, and lower and higher speed can be set on the machine on what RPM to be. So these are good for edges, or some part where the machine just needs to be setting slower. So for the beginning I will choose lowest speed. Okay, so now this will be in low speed, the beginning, and then go high, and maybe here at the edge I want the machine to go just a little slower, but not at the high speed. So I'm going to select just the stitches on the edge right here, and I'm gonna edit speed, and then not lowest, but I'm gonna go with lower speed. Okay, so this couple of stitches starting from here will be with lower speed, and then continue fast, because we want the stitch to be clear right here at the edge, and we can do that throughout the whole object. So we just go to File and then Save As, and here we have more options. So it's important that the Dahao format, DHP, is a file that later we can open and work with. So this is saving all the parameters of the pattern. So this is a working file. But for the machine, it will not read the DHP file. So for the machine to read it, we need to use the VDT format. And this is a file that the machine reads. But VDT, it's not editable in the software. So VDT is only used for the machine.